All right, Sabine. Why does Canada hate America this week? And give two examples.
We don't hate you. We're just really mad right now.
Particularly, why are we mad? We've got a new tariff deadline, which has not expired yet as we're recording this. So I'm sure there's going to be shenanigans going there. We have Doug Ford having an immigration mess that's crossing borders because Doug Ford's going to Doug Ford. We have American, I'll just lay it on the table, America grifting media and their overseas allies inserting themselves into the Alberta mess. Let's just call that for what that is. Where do you want to start?
I think tariffs is on everybody's mind. We're just a couple days, when we're recording this, we're a couple days from the August 1st tariff deadline. I can talk a little bit about what's going on right now. Basically, the Trump administration's threatened to impose 35% tariffs on a lot of Canadian imports starting August 1st, unless a new agreement is reached. But both sides are telling us that it doesn't look good. So on one side, Trump saying, these negotiations are really low priority for me, don't really care about it. Looks like it's just going to have to happen. On the other side, Carney's also saying things are not looking very good, looking kind of bleak. He wants an agreement that's fair to Canada, and that doesn't always work for the United States. A negotiation that doesn't include tariffs is not looking possible at the moment, I have to be honest. I have been advocating from the beginning that any negotiation has to end with no tariffs, and that's not going to happen, it doesn't seem. Canadian Minister Dominic LeBlanc is in Washington right now negotiating. He's the minister, and I'm going to tell you the title, his job title. It'll tell you a lot about what Canadian priorities are right now. He's the minister responsible for Canada-US trade, intergovernmental affairs, and one Canadian economy. And that's all about interprovincial trade. So we can talk about that later as well, which is kind of important.
Who came up with that title? That's like when South Park does a comedy parody of a Canadian government official. That's the title they would give him. Can we just admit that?
It's really sad. They get longer and longer, and the people think they're more important, but really it's just a long name.
I mean, the American government is infamous for its acronyms, but by God, at least we shortened it and made it something catchy. How would you even acronym that bad boy?
You just don't. I think you have to say, thank you for welcoming the Minister of Canada, U.S. Trade and Regulatory Affairs and one Canadian Mahonry.
And how does that go in French? Because you have to do both.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm not going to try that because I don't want Quebecois people to hate me, but...
Well, we know how patient they are, but we're kidding. We love our Quebecers. It goes to the cultural divide a little bit, though, and Carney's had to deal with this since he's came on board. Trudeau went under the train on this because he didn't fully understand it because he is he's from a different planet than Donald Trump. Let's just be honest about it. He just got ran over by the bullet because he didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
This is part of the divide is Canadian officials are trying to figure out, it's like, no, this is not about the institutions and the titles and the decorum and the this is all about, can we interpersonally deal transactionally with Donald Trump or not? And when we do, he treats us pretty well. And when we don't, he treats us pretty badly. It's really that simple, isn't it?
It is, and in the beginning, I had a lot of hope because it seemed like he had a much better relationship with Prime Minister Carney than he did with Justin Trudeau. So I had a lot of hope there. I was thinking, they had a really good first meeting. He seems to really like him. Carney's talking to him in the way that Trump likes to be talked to. And, we just have to do that so that our economy doesn't get destroyed. And inadvertently, we don't want with the American economy to get hurt as well, obviously. But of course, we're maintaining that we need to figure out what's happening in Canada. So it looked like it was going well for a while. And now it just seems like it's falling apart. And we haven't exactly been great players in this negotiation either as Canadians. We went and did the digital services tax. We said we're going to impose it, knowing full well that Donald Trump would react negatively to that. So how do you go ahead and do that in the middle of a trade negotiation when you're trying to stay positive with your trade partner? So we're starting to irritate the Americans for no real reason at the end of the day. Like, it's a bit upsetting when you know the harms of tariffs. Like, obviously, as your listeners know, tariffs are just taxes on your own people. It's going to make our lives a lot more difficult. We're already in, a crisis of affordability, a housing crisis. We're having a lot of trouble paying our bills. And for us to impose tariffs on top of that, 35% tariff is going to be really bad. The U.S. makes up 75% of Canada's total exports. And a 35% tariff on Canadian goods is going to shrink our GDP by like 1.5 to 2.5% in a year, within a year. We're looking at 200 to 300,000 jobs at risk, especially in Alberta, Ontario, and Quebec. So this isn't the time to, pretend like, oh, oopsies, we didn't know this was going to upset them. Like, I think we knew, we did it anyway. And with 300,000 jobs on the line, I think we have to be smarter about it.